Hey everybody, Ray Pastor here, and we're gonna do a little money saving tip tonight. All right, as you know, I've talked about this a little bit before. I'm in the process of actually building a home, and this will be my third home, two rentals and a house. And I do this, let's see, last year around this time when interest dropped, last April, March, April timeframe, like when COVID hit, I refinanced. Um, and let me tell you a little bit, a couple stories too, after I talk about this, about some of the stuff that's happened to me. But tonight, the big topic is saving money with insurance. So a lot of people don't realize this, but home insurance is no different than any other commodity out there. Like, just for example, when I'm going to buy something, I usually shop around. I check a few different prices to see, like, is it cheaper at Costco, Walmart, Sam's Club, Target, that kind of thing. Insurance is no different. So this includes home insurance, homeowners insurance, auto insurance. The only insurance that most people would buy would be flood, which is regulated by the government, so that's not going to change. But your homeowners insurance changes a lot. I'll give you guys some numbers of what I'm shopping around right now and seeing. But my biggest piece of advice in all of this is annually you should be shopping around for your insurance. Insurance companies increase money for various reasons, and you can shop around and find better rates. A lot of people don't do this because they don't really think the savings will be good. They just assume that, well, hey, I have all my insurance in one place, that's easier. They maybe think it's difficult to go and shop around and find some quotes. Let me show you, I'm going to share some numbers with you guys that I'm seeing right now. So as I'm building a house, I contacted four different insurance companies for quotes, and I think that's a pretty good number. I think anywhere from like 3 to 5. It gives you a ballpark number of what you're going to get. But let me just give you this. So now my homeowners include something called wind and hail policy that most people don't have. That's because I live near the coast. If you're a coastal community, your insurance is higher because we get hurricanes. So these numbers might sound a little more expensive than what you're used to seeing. That's only because of where I live and I have no choice but to pay it. But let me just tell you this. So I went to four different companies. The highest quote I was given was $3,300 for 1 year. So $3,300. Because I shopped around, I was able to find that exact policy. So that means like the same deductible for $1,600, literally half, um, half, half, half price. Just by calling around to four different companies, I was able to get the same quote for half the price. Now a lot of people are concerned about switching insurance companies, and you think about that. That's $1,500 a year. That's over $100 a month that I'm going to save by going with this insurance company. $100 a month, $1,500 a year saved. Add that up, and all of a sudden we're talking like year over year, like a significant amount of savings per month. But that's $100 less I have to pay in my mortgage each month. That's huge, right? That is a lot of money when you start adding it up, especially if you're on like the edge of affording your mortgage or like being house poor. Like that's a lot of money. So those are my numbers. Highest price was $3,300. Lowest price was $1,600. It's almost unbelievable that it's that much of a savings. I do shop my insurance pretty much every few years. Some people recommend every year, but I just shopped it last year and I'm shopping it again and actually finding a better rate. So it is well worth saving your time. Now, one of the interesting things about insurance, and I had said I had some stories for you guys, is that a lot of people assume that, well, I have a good insurance company, they're a local office, they take my calls, this and that. I've had to deal with a number of insurance related issues, like claims. Mostly because I live near the beach and we get hurricanes. So you'll be after the storm, you look out and your fence is gone. You find out, well, my policy doesn't cover my fence. Or you look up, we actually had a tornado hit our house 2 years ago with Hurricane Dorian, I believe. It's confirmed, like on the weather map. Like I can see the tornado that hit my house, kind of crazy. And that took a piece of my roof. And I've dealt with the insurance company for that. I've been dealing with the insurance company during Hurricane Florence that took my roof of my other house. Didn't take like the whole roof, but enough that it needed to be replaced. And so I've now dealt with multiple insurance companies, and I have to say, it's been a pretty easy experience. I called them, figured out what I needed to do, did it, and they took care of the problem pretty easily. Um, so I haven't had a lot of bad experiences with them. I've had some issues here and there with them for other things. For example, so my one insurance company that I have on my current house that I live in now. So I have different homeowners and so I have like multiple insurance companies too, and I'll talk about that in a second. But they've like there's been some issues sometimes of them collecting money from my mortgage company because the escrow, like the dates, and they've actually dropped me from insurance for like 10 days until they got the payment, which was very strange. But keeping on top of them for things like that to make sure that doesn't happen. A lot of us don't even realize that it happens when you're just paying everything in one lump payment to a bank, that there can be like delays in getting checks. That was a COVID related issue with the mail being really slow, which is what happened. But it was kind of disheartening that the insurance company would drop you for 10 days while they're waiting for a check. Anyway, so one of the things that I do recommend is that you shop insurance and you go with multiple insurance. Get your car somewhere different. Get your homeowner somewhere different. Like you look around, you shop, and you get your insurance where it's actually cheapest. Yes, it's a little bit of a pain to have multiple companies when there's a problem. You got to figure out who's who. I just have it all written down on a spreadsheet. But the thing is, like, if I were just to accept one of these companies, I might be paying $100 to $300 a month more money for my insurance. And when you think about that, that's a huge savings. We're all of a sudden talking about like a grocery bill, a car payment, your cell phone payment, whatever it happens to be. I'd rather use that $100 on anything else than paying for something that I could be getting cheaper somewhere. Um, so it's well worth shopping for. It's well worth looking around. I totally recommend calling a bunch of different companies. And the thing about getting insurance is you can't just look at the bottom line isn't just that final number, you have to look at what's actually being covered. And they're pretty standard what's being covered. You see like X amount, what your deductible is, what they're covering, what they're not, and figuring out what fits your needs. But for those of you looking to save money, I think that this is a huge, huge, huge important way that you can save money is to go shop, especially if your insurance company is raising rates, or you haven't shopped around for insurance for like 5, 10 plus years. You need to do it because you'll find better rates out there. Do the same thing with car. Sometimes it's easier to bundle them all together. You get a better price, but actually what I'm finding in my experience is that bundling hardly saves me anything. Like when I bundle my mortgages together, all three, it saves me like $15 versus shopping them all separately, and I'll save like $100, $150, $200. So being separate, the savings of the bundle wasn't that good. Didn't save me a lot. So it's well worth shopping. I've had friends, I've had family that I've talked to that have an insurance company that they just don't want to switch. They don't even want to go out and shop because they say, oh, I have a really good company. They have everything's bundled. It's easy, but they just don't realize how much more money they're really spending per month by not shopping around. So go out, give it a try. Worst thing that happens is you shop around and find that your company is the cheapest. And then you can sleep better knowing that you are finding a deal and, trying to find the best way to save money through insurance. So anyway, just a money saving tip that I wanted to give you guys because I've been dealing with it and it's just important. And I've now found an insurance quote that I'm happy with. Next up for me in the house hunting process, my rate. So maybe we'll start talking about, interest rates and and securing one and stuff like that will be one of my next topics I talk about pretty soon. So all right, have a good night, y'all.